During our senior year, we all have a really important decision to make that will heavily impact our future, and sometimes we need a little help with this decision. Today in here, we have an expert on this process to share some insight. Julie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, Julie, how would students go about college application process, and what does it really entail?
So the college application process is it's pretty extensive. I think one of the biggest things would be to start early. Sometimes students know exactly what they want to do, and that actually makes it easier. So if you're like, I know I want to be a nurse, that's really going to help narrow down, what colleges you're going to be applying to, what you're going to be looking at, and programs, et cetera. It's harder if you're not quite sure what you want to do, and I think it's absolutely normal to not be certain what you want to do when you're 17 years old or so.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think some great tools that are available to you. Certainly, your school counselor. So we're in the guidance office all seasoned counselors who have helped a lot of students go through the college application process. Many of us have children who have gone through college as well, so that's we kind of have that insider knowledge. School Links is available to all students on their Chromebooks, so that's a nice resource for you. Certainly, there's also a website called Big Future. I think now, which is excellent, is all the internet resources. So literally, you could do a Google search of what are the steps in a college application process, and you'll get an outline. I think some of the biggest things are start thinking about what do you want your future to look like. Where do you see yourself? You can, and like a search in School Links is everything from location to size. So do you see yourself in a smaller school, like under 5,000 students, or do you want to be in a big campus, over 30,000 students? So when you can start narrowing those things down, then it's a process of you can go to the school website, see what kind of programs they offer, see what kind of options they have for students. And so I think the biggest thing is, and take your time. It's not research you can do overnight, it's research you're going to be doing over a period of time. And I think that's why, we do encourage students to start early. We are just finishing up meetings with our juniors and their families to talk about the college application process. I know a lot of juniors went on college visits over spring break, which is pretty typical. So I think that's the next thing when you start to find some colleges you want to attend. Again, go to their website and do a deeper dive of what you're looking for.
I know this time last year I was going on my college visits for the first time, and I think classes, like a lot of elective classes that schools tend to offer, are a really good way to open to the students to find what they might like, or even something that would lead into a related topic that they would really want to pursue in college.
Yeah, and we encourage that. That's one reason we encourage you guys to explore the electives we offer, because we do have a lot of different ones. And you can find out what you like and what you might not like, and that is equally important.
Of course. So what do you desire? So what deters most students from wanting to pursue college after high school?
I think a big thing is certainly cost or concern about debt.
Yeah.
I think that's a reality. It is expensive to attend college. I think another thing is more and more students and families are questioning what's called return on investment.
Yes.
So it's like, I'm going to spend my time doing this program. What is my job outlook going to be? Is it going to be worth spending my time and money to get the job I potentially want to get? And so I think that is, those are kind of two of the biggest things. I think sometimes also students are, you've been in school for 13, 14 years of your life at this point.
Too many.
And it's like, oh, wow, that's a lot of time. Some students are a little bit tired and they want a break. But yeah, I think there's some real concerns, like with the cost and the debt and return on investment. And I think more and more students are, and families, of course, are just looking at that and making sure that it is, worth financially and again, time-wise, it is worth the outcome that you're going to get in the end.
I know I definitely had a struggle with that, and scholarships, of course, School Links, the district scholarships were definitely a help. Even the smallest amount helps. Even a couple $100s could even pay for my textbooks, and that's always a benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything, I mean, you brought up scholarships, so certainly SchoolLinks is a great place to go. You know, a lot of schools, depending on your grades, you might get merit scholarships, so that's based on your grades, and which is excellent. A lot of colleges have private scholarships that they offer, and then certainly their scholarship opportunities. You know, I mean, Warwick Community is very, very generous with the scholarships that they offer, and I know even for seniors right now, the application deadlines are coming up for this.
So where do students go to apply, and are there multiple ways of applying?
Sure. Yeah. So now it's all, you know, online. So it's different websites. One of the most common you know, applications, the Common App. So over 1,000 schools accept the Common application. It is pretty comprehensive. I tell students it's not difficult, but it's kind of tedious because you have to answer a lot of information on it. So certainly many students will be using the Common application to apply to schools. SUNY has its own application, so if you don't want to have to go through the Common App, so SUNY has an application, CUNY, and then some colleges might have an application on their own website.
How important are grants and scholarships when applying?
Well, I think you said it. Like even $500 is going to help with books and supplies, things like that, because not only are you looking at the cost of tuition, so, and I think you know, I took a look at numbers, the average cost to attend a SUNY or CUNY all in for the year is about $30,000 for a 4-year school. For private school, you're looking at like $45,000 plus $50,000 when you're all in, because it's not only tuition, there's books, there's what's room and board, so you're paying to live there, you're paying to eat there, and then fees like a recreation fee. They have like an internet usage fee, so they do put on fees as well. So any kind of money you can get is definitely going to help you out.
Yeah, definitely. How much is the typical cost of colleges, both for SUNY, CUNY? Okay.
So yeah, no, I mentioned it. So yeah, about 31. If you're looking 4-year living on campus. So SUNY, State University of New York, CUNY, City University of New York, both in-state pricing. Okay, and so that all in again about $31,000. If you look at a 2-year SUNY, so SUNY Orange, which is in Middletown, SUNY RCC, Rockland County Community College, tuition and fees, you're talking about $6,500 a year. So there's a huge difference there. They're not including, that doesn't include like your, you know, living at home and feeding yourself. But you know, certainly that's why a lot of students also look at going to community college versus a 4-year right off the bat, because certainly it is financially a big difference.
I'm also aware that a lot of the time students right out of high school go to community colleges and have a lot better of a chance at attending a lot of the state schools or even private schools afterward. Do you understand why that is?
Well, I think a lot of times students, when you start attending, say, a community college, maybe you get more focused on your grades. Okay, so because now you're paying for it, right? I mean, I know when I went to college, there were times I was never a math student, but when I had to start paying for that math class, I was like, I better do really well in this class because it's coming out of my pocket. So I think that's a piece of it. And usually, if you're going to college, you're a little bit more focused, you're a little bit more mature. All right, and you also are proving that you can be successful in college, all right? So coming out of high school, you know, maybe you don't have the average GPA, SAT scores that a college is looking for, but if you go to college for a couple of years and you can show, hey, no, I'm in college now and I'm being successful in college, then they'll look at you differently as far as transferring in.
Okay. Is taking a gap year worth it or essential for students who don't have enough money to pay up front for college?
I think taking a gap year is, I think you got to be careful when taking a gap year is what I'll say. I think it's important to really have a plan, okay? Because if you don't have a plan, you know, you don't want to sit in your parents' basement for a year and you know, not achieve anything. I think, so having there are actually companies that you can apply and do a gap year program through. Certainly students will choose to work and save up money, which I think is a good thing. One thing that students don't realize they can do is to apply for colleges while they're still in high school. If they're accepted, then they can ask the college to defer their admission for a year. So that way you're saying, I'm not gonna come, you know, in the fall, but save a spot for me the next fall. And that way you have a plan in place. You actually already have an acceptance to a college and you know where you're going to be going. And I think that actually is leads students to be more successful because they have a plan there. You know what I mean? Instead of it just being open-ended and saying, well, I'm going to save up money and when I get enough money, I'm going to apply. Because life happens, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes like your car breaks down and you got to pay for your car and so I think sometimes maybe the money that you're hoping is going to be there, if it's not there, then you might not apply. So I think having that plan in place is really important to, if college is your ultimate goal, to make sure you have a plan and like how your next step is going to happen. And I know, we have students that graduate and we're still willing to help you guys with college stuff. So you still need transcripts from us and information. So don't hesitate to reach back out to the high school. And School Links is available to you after graduation as well. So
I feel a little bad for my counselor. I would go in a lot during the application process.
So that's what we're here for. I think we want people to come in and ask us questions, and we have that information. And so I know all of us are more than willing to help you out and walk you through the process because it's something you've never done before. So, and I know with college applications, sometimes it's like new vocabulary, and you're like, what does this mean? I've never I don't understand what this means. So having people who can help you through it, that's what we're here for.
Well, Julie, thank you for coming with us on the show today. And I hope that those watching now better understand the college application process. I've been Xavier Fernandez with Common App Chaos, and thanks for watching.